Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Jerome, and this is my lovely wife, Inocencia, and we are Signature Cruise and Travel, a member of Travolution. And we are thankful that you have joined us for this training. What we'd like to discuss with you tonight, because we're very interested in your success in this travel industry. You've made a great decision in joining the travel industry. And so we look forward to sharing with you what we've learned over the last 6 years of a lot of training, a lot of business with clients. And also a lot of just experiences that we've encountered. And we want you to kind of avoid all of the hiccups and the issues and problems and just go straight to success as quickly as possible. Tonight, we'll be talking about the art of follow-up, and there's one tool that we discussed about several of them last week, which was Google Forms. So we'll be going over Google Forms, which is a great tool as you begin your business. So we're going to begin with Inocencia, and she will take it from here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Inocencia. As Jerome said, we have been part of the Travolution family for 6 years, and we are excited. And let me say it again, we are excited about what is coming down the pike in terms of the travel industry. Yes, we had a little hiatus. Yes, the pandemic came and the pandemic did what the pandemic had to do. But the pandemic is not here to stay. The pandemic is getting ready to go bye-bye, and we are getting ready, or we have been in the trenches. So we just want to be able to share with you some of the things that we have been doing and is working. Even during the pandemic, we have been educating ourselves, mainly Jerome, and it's just great what is coming down. So tonight, I wanted to touch with every one of you guys in reference to the art of the follow-up and how important follow-up is and was even for us during this pandemic. I don't know if most of you kept in touch with your customers, if you took the time to communicate with them or share something with them or send an email to them. But that is one of the things that we did. We was able to send an email out. Can you put to that screen for me? We was able to stay in touch with them because part of the process in order to maintain and sustain and to keep your clients is follow-up. We always hear that they say that the cookies and the follow-up, and those are sometimes we think they are cliches, but to be perfectly honest with you, follow-up is important. Part of the process of following up is making sure that the customers or the clients that have been contacting us, some have contacted us during the pandemic just for simple stuff. They wanted a flight, or they just wanted a hotel or nothing big, because again, it's a pandemic. So we still were able to follow up with them and make sure that we were managing the expectations. So even now that we're getting ready to, or things are getting ready to open back up, just learn to manage your client expectation. If somebody reached out to you in reference to something, just make sure that you are giving them a parameter of when you're going to reach back out to them. 24, 48 hours, that's the minimum that we give. Depending on the situation or what they're asking for, if you need 72 hours, it's always best to be honest with your client and manage the expectation. Don't tell them you're going to get back to them and then you're not getting back to them until next week. So it's always great to manage the expectation by giving them a time frame of when you will be communicating or contacting them. you have to have a posture, right? Having the right posture that even when they call you and even when you provide the information to them that they requested of you, right? And they said, whatever you presented, whatever the proposal, if they come back to you and they said no, because sometimes that's the answer that we get. It's not the response that we want, but it's the answer that we get. So what is going to be your posture about that no that you got? Because the response is yes, right? We get a yes. That's right now. We can also get a no, or we can get a no, not now. And we always are in the mindset when we get that no, that is a no, not now. Hence the importance of the follow-up, because they may say no, not now, because there's something else might have come up. They may not have the money to do it. So yes, they may say no, not now. But if you take that no and you just leave it as a no, and you don't convert it, because you can convert that no to a no, not now, with your follow-up. And the follow-up means I will communicate with them, I will reach out to them, because perhaps this was not a great time for them to do whatever it was that they wanted to do. Next, please. So how do we handle no? Because a no can be very beneficial. And sometimes, again, people look at things through different lenses. But being 6 years in the business, we have learned a thing or two about no's, right? So a no can be as equal as a no, not now. As I said, no money. They're too embarrassed to tell you that they don't have the money. Something changed, life happened, right? It's not about you. And as long as we keep that in mind, it is not all about you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you did something, wrong, or you didn't present the right proposal, or your proposal wasn't pretty enough or cute enough, or whatever the case may be. It could be that life happens and they're not able to move forward with it. After 2 to 3 follow-up attempts from a person that you presented something to, and you are unable to make contact with them, you can back off, right? And be ready to walk away. Because one of the things that you don't want to do is to spend too much time just holding on to that one proposal or that one person, or whatever the case may be, just putting all of your hopes in that one basket at that one time. Because truth be told, how many of us have done that in the business? How many of us has presented a proposal? We spend hours putting it together, and we present it, and we think 100% this is going to be the one. This person is going to say yes, definitely. And we refuse to let it go. We keep at it. We keep trying to bombard the person, kind of like twisting their arms to do what we want him to do. And sometimes we simply have to walk away. We cannot allow them to keep us in that kind of loop. We have to let it go. We step back, regroup, walk away, because there is more out there. That's only one no. And with one no, many a times we have noticed one person may say no, but we get plenty of yeses. So let's go to the other one. The fortune is in the follow-up. The person that said no is not a no forever. It's a temporary no. We could follow up with them. Okay, we have to make sure that we are following up on our leads, because if we follow up on leads, that leads us to success. But I want to ask a question, and it's posted right there. Did you know that 79% of leads are never followed up? Sometimes people will call you and they will give you a name, they'll give you a phone number, and you say, I'm going to call them back, and you don't take the time to call them back. Or by the time you call them back, it's kind of like too late because they already went and jumped and did the business with somebody else. So it's important that you follow up. And we could give you examples of what has happened with us and our business, because even the people that told us no, when they said no to us at that time, we stayed in contact with them. During this pandemic, we sent out birthday emails, birthday greetings. We followed up with them. We sent out anniversary greetings. Mm-hmm. We followed up with them by providing them information, critical information about what was happening with the pandemic in terms of the vaccines, in terms of locations where they could go and get the vaccine, in terms of what was happening in the different countries like Dominican Republic or Mexico and Puerto Rico. We kept our clients informed about what was happening, and that was a form of follow-up, to the point that now we are getting, they are contacting us because they are ready to book, they are ready to do business. And that only happened because we stayed in touch. We stayed plugged in to what was happening in the industry, despite the fact that we weren't really making any income. But you know where the benefit was? The benefit was in our education. We took the time to be plugged in, to keep up to date with what was happening. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jerome shared with you guys on last week, and this is gonna be my 2 pennies, and I'm gonna be quiet for the rest of the night, okay? But I think that this part is critical. If you are not contacting your clients, if you are not following up with your clients, I beg you to start doing it from tonight. Get an email, send them on an email, let them know you are open for business. Your business never closed. The pandemic happened, but your business never closed. So follow up with your clients, call them up, send them an email, find out how they're doing. Let them know that you care for them, and it's not only about the commission that you could get from them, but you genuinely care about them. And that is where your fortune is going to come from, because that is what they're going to remember. Jerome told you last week, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the month of April is not over, and we have already booked approximately 40,000.
Over 40,000.
A little bit over 40,000. And that didn't happen by happen chance. Right. That happened because we were purposeful on making sure that we stayed in contact and followed up with our clients. And that is what I wanted to share with you tonight. Thank you.
So we really wanted to, this is just a brief overview of what we teach when it comes to follow-up, and that's why we entitled tonight's training Brief Overview. There's a lot more to it, but it was important that you understood where that success story that we're talking about this month came from. That wasn't just a bunch of people just deciding to pick up the phone and call us. It really was about all year last year, as Inocencia indicated, we stayed plugged in with our clients. And so what we're encouraging the people that are brand new, give your family and friends, the people that you know, a call and let them know in your business. We discussed this last week in our last training. Give them a call, let them know you're in business, but don't just stop there. Follow up. Hey, I haven't heard from you. Do you have any plans for later this year or next year? when you're plugging in and connecting with people, this is what I had to learn very quickly, is this is a people business. You have to care about people. If you're in this business just for money, you're probably not going to be very successful. You have to care about people, and they have to sense that from you. Once they pick up that from you, this is a very intentional business. There's a lot of money to be made, but it's also a people business, and that's what's going to be the driving factor in part towards your success. So because we stayed plugged in with our clients, and this is not necessarily bright ideas that Inocencia and I came up with, but because we, as I mentioned in our last training, because we stayed plugged into trainings that were professionally conducted by some of the vendors that we attended. Every week we're attending several training sessions. And one consistent thing we kept hearing throughout the year last year was stay connected to your clients, give them a call. We discussed social media plugs. The follow-up and the follow-through can be in various forms. The birthdays, the anniversaries, the emails that we sent out. Sometimes we sent texts. Sometimes we called. It depended on the individual that we were reaching out to. But the key factor is just to follow up. So when you're starting your business, don't just put up the open for business sign, but you see what they do in your neighborhood. Sometimes the business will send out little flyers in those mailers that come in your mail and says, we're open for business. They're following up. And that's going to be key, especially in the travel business, so that people know, like I indicated before, people travel anyway. They book with travel agents that they like. And how do they like you? Because you're showing up. You're contacting, you're touching base with them. So we wanted to briefly really discuss follow-up, because it's been a key and important factor to the success of our business. And so hopefully this will be helpful as we encourage you to, for those people that have been in the business and rejoining and getting back into get connected with your clients, and take time out to get back to them and find out what's going on with them. Sometimes I just call to say, hey, how's things going with you? And don't even mention travel, and let they know I'm in the business, and they bring up travel. Hey, by the way, I plan on doing something next year, so that because you demonstrate a genuine care about them. They are looking to do business with you. And so that's what we found to be very helpful in the success of our business. One of the other tools that we discussed is Google Forms. Now, we decided to bring this up early in this training session, because as you're connecting with people and letting them know that you're back in business or you started a new travel business, you're going to need a way to be able to allow them to communicate to you their needs for trips. And sometimes, depending on your schedule, if you're doing this part-time or even full-time, you may find that you can't necessarily speak to everybody that wants to speak to you or that you would like to speak to. And so Google Forms is a form that you can use. Let me bring this up. Google Forms allows you, it creates and analyzes surveys for free. It's a free tool that you can use as long as you have a Google account. So it's an online app, and it will help you to do more in your browser for free. To use it, the simplest way it's the simplest way to save money and use it, and you can actually save all the data directly to a spreadsheet. So we like Google Forms because it's free, and when you're starting a new business, free is good. You can't say it any better. So with that, we wanted to just tell you about this tool. It's been a powerful tool that we've used all 6 years that we've been in business. We still use it to this day. It's very helpful in connecting with our clients and for them to communicate their needs for us. So with Google Forms, in order to access it, you do need a Google account. So if you don't have a Gmail email account, you may want to set up one just for the purpose of being able to access this tool. You can open it up in Chrome, and I'm trying to, 1 second, please. Let's see if I can minimize this so I can see the rest of this. There we go. Now I can see my whole screen. Part of my screen was being blocked. So as you are able to access it, if you can see my arrow right there where the hamburger sign is, you'll be able to access the apps for Google Forms. The Google Form is located, this is the icon. Once you do get connected to Gmail and open up Chrome, you're able to find that after you hit that hamburger, you'll be able to see that little symbol there, and that's Google Form. So you can locate the form icon there and click on more to get to this icon, because you don't see it in the first screen that you get to. We use Google Forms, for instance, to when we have new clients that we're trying to get the information for. I discussed this last week because one of the things it does is it allows us to receive the information accurately. Sometimes when people are expressing the information that you need over the phone, especially names, the B sound like a D, and when you're trying to complete let's say an airline booking for the individual, and you spell their name wrong, now you have all this trouble trying to correct it. With the Google Form, what this does, we've used this application or this tool so that when somebody says they want to book, let's say, a flight with us, what we'll do is send a link to them, a Google Form link, and it looks, what ours look like for a new client form is similar to this. So you're seeing like the first few pages of it. We just put a little symbol there. We always branding everything that our clients see from us. There's some sort of branding, and we will be talking about that at a later stage. So we have our little logo here, our contact information in the first page, and then we ask them in the next page, give us your name, your address, your date of birth, your gender. All of these things are important, and we always indicate to give us the name as it appears on your government issue ID, whether that's their license, especially if they're traveling domestically, or if they're traveling internationally. It really doesn't have to match what you see on the passport, and sometimes that can be slightly different. Some people may have a license that doesn't have their middle initial on it, but in their passport they do, or their middle name. These are going to be key things, and so when you send them the link, this is what they see page by page, and they get to just fill it in, click next, and that Google Form, once it's completed, with all the information that we need to help book their travel, we get an email back to our business email address, and we're able to see that information and then move on from there. This form also allows us to collect their credit card information. This is secure because it comes directly back to our email address and our email address alone. So this is a great tool to use when you are trying to collect the initial information from clients. And what we've learned to do that might be helpful to you is we don't even start the process of looking for a trip that somebody has asked us for until they give us this new client form. As time after time, we'll do the work, and there's really nothing invested as far as they're concerned. They're just asking you, and then sometimes, as I alluded to it before, sometimes they're just using you as a expanded research for their trip, and then they'll say never mind, and they'll end up taking your idea that you presented to them and booking it themselves. So this helps to kind of get the client at least have some stake in the process by giving you some initial information about themselves instead of just their name and phone number to give me a call back on what prices that you get.
And also one of the things that this does, and I just want to put my 2 pennies in, is that it sets a tone, right?
Yes.
What it does, it sets a tone about your business that, you know, a lot of time, and I don't know if you heard that, but I know when we started, there were moments that people will say, oh, you still doing that travel thing? You know, and it's like, I'm not doing a travel thing. This is my business.
Yeah.
So it sets a tone to your clients or the people calling you. Oh, wait a minute. You know, this is not just, you know, my friend who is, you know, just have a way of finding good deals. No, this is her business. So you have to set that tone from the beginning so that they will know. Yes, as we say, they may say no, but that no may be no, not now, no, not this moment. But when they see that you are set up in this fashion, that you are requiring certain type of information, then they will get the sense that this is a true business and it's not a travel thing.
Absolutely, and that's a great point. I knew when she said she wasn't going to talk again, that was a lie. But I'm glad she inserted that. That was a very important point. We also use the Google Forms for the groups that we work heavily with groups quite a bit, and so we'll make a unique Google form just for that particular group. And so it gives them a sense of uniqueness, and when a client sees this and they're able to use this Google form to share it with the people that are planning on going with them with the group. This is a cruise that we did back in 2018, a group cruise. And so we were able to make a Google form that was unique to that particular group. We put a picture of the actual ship that they were going to be sailing on with their particular dates of travel, information about the itinerary, things of that nature. That was helpful for them. There are other applications that we have for Google Forms that we've used that have been very helpful in growing our business and helping us to, again, do things accurately and with excellence. We're very key on doing things with excellence when we're working with our clients. So there are things like next payment forms. When we're dealing with groups, there is it's typically payment schedules that they have to follow. And if they're not using the same credit card that they initially gave us when they registered for the group, this next payment form is something that we use so that they can indicate another credit card that they like for their payment, or that was their way of giving us approval to make the next payment for especially a group booking when there is definitely first, second, and final payment dates, things of that nature. We also used it when it came to book your flights. So we had one specifically for if somebody's asking for a flight. We didn't have that longer Google form that asks a lot of generic questions about their travel. If we knew they were just asking for a flight, we would send them sort of like the new client form with getting their initial information like their name, date of birth, and data and credit card information, and then their flight information. So it was like a shortened version of the new client form. And that would help people to kind of get to the point with that. And so we also had something like reserve my seat for various types of groups as well. So these are all kind of different applications that you can use Google Forms for. It gives you the opportunity to collect the information from clients that you need specific to a group, generically when it comes to a new client form, and so on. With the Google Forms, once you've spoken to your client, they say, we'd like to go on a trip and we want to give you some additional information, you can use this Google form. This application allows you to email that form to the client. They click, this is what they see once they receive that Google form in the email, and they just click fill out form. And it will lead them to the form that you filled out. In this case, it's a new client form. So after I finish speaking with the client, I have an idea of what they want. I usually will let them know, we'll be sending you a new client form so that we can get the information that we need to help make sure that we're getting the best offer for you. With that, it shows a presence of professional when people see something of this nature coming to their email. Last week we did discuss things to help you know what to set up, like your business name, your business phone number, your business email address, your business phone number, your business logo. These are all things that you're going to use in your Google form. So that's why it was key. On our very first training, we discussed the basic things that you'll need to set up your business, and it's for this very reason, so that when you're building and working with tools, you have all of those things in place to apply to those tools. So that's why it was key in the first training. If you didn't get it, please go back to that recording. It's key and vital that you set up certain things so that as you are conducting business, certain things are in place, and clients will have that much more respect for your business because you're showing up as a business as opposed to a hobby. With Google Forms, you can also embed Google Forms into your website. So once you have a website set up, you can get a HTML link to embed into your website, and when you are talking with a client, you can give them the name of your website and say, go there and click on new client form. And if anybody that's close to programming or you're dealing with websites, and your website provider can help you with setting up that that little icon on your website that says something like new client form or something like click here to fill out your new client form, something of that nature. Google Forms allows you to do that as well. You can also send your clients a link, and what that does is sometimes when I am trying to, some clients are very good with email, some are very good with texting. So in this case, if I'm telling them I'm going to send them a new client form, I can actually text them a link to the Google Forms, so that when you go to Google Forms, you'll be able to click on send, and one of the options is this symbol that looks like a link. This is the character for a link, paperclip for a link. So you'll be able to get, when you first click it, you'll get this long link, but if you click shorten the link, it's the same link but shortened. I always send a shortened one so it doesn't look so intimidating when it comes across, and it looks a lot neater, especially when you're texting to somebody. You can also put this this link into an email and other places that we'll discuss shortly. So there's various ways to send this Google form to the client so that you can get the vital information you need. And again, it looks very professional when you're able to send it to them by email, text, or otherwise. You're also able to use this Google Forms in social media. And what you see circled here allows you to use it in Google Plus, Facebook, or Twitter. And that's another tool that, especially when you're promoting something like a group, or if you have it in your Facebook, we discussed in our first training, having these social media accounts set up for your business, because as clients find your social media pages, they were able to click on the new client form within the social media page, and then let them, you'll be able to get information about a trip that they would like to take. So for instance, in Facebook, once you take that link that you just saw in a previous slide, this is what it looks like in Facebook. So if somebody wants to contact you about a new trip, our new client form is one of those generic forms that says, do you want a cruise? If so, what what kind of cruise you want? Where do you want to go? If you want a trip all inclusive, it has all of those questions in there. So it's a little bit longer of a form because it's generic, so that people can answer what type of trip that they like to take and would like you to look into. Having that on your social media pages will be helpful, as people, that might be the way that people will want to connect with you initially to ask you to help them with their travel needs. This is the Facebook post that's sample on our Facebook page. And so this is what it looks like. Again, nice, neat, and they can just click on it. It's a link that literally, when they go to our Facebook page, they're able to click on it and be able to initiate a travel proposal to us with all the information that we need to get started with, including the credit card number. That's key. Sometimes, just to pause, sometimes people will fill this out and not put in their credit card information. And that's okay, especially if you don't really know them and they don't know you. They don't know if this is, who you are. So I don't mind that as much, especially if it's a new person. Obviously, if it's somebody that we know, we typically usually already have their credit card information saved from another trip that we've taken, that we've arranged for them. And so having the credit card number information in there it is sometimes a plus or not. Don't let that be the criteria per se. It really depends on what they're asking you for, how much work you think is going to be involved in getting it done. But the more committed you allow your client to, or kind of get your client to be involved in the process, as opposed to just asking, hey, look up something for me and maybe I'll get back to you, maybe I won't. You're trying to commit the client so that the time that you're spending looking for researching these trips, you're able to, there is at least they have a stake in the game. Yeah, absolutely. Because we're finding oftentimes that they'll say no.
Right. And one of the good things too about the new client form is that if somebody is really serious about you helping them, or finding something, they will definitely take the time to complete it. I know we had instances where people would call us and like, hey, can you check this out for me? And we will say, okay, give me your email. We're going to send you a form. And once you complete the form and, we receive it, we will start the research. No form, right? You don't complete the form after we spoke and you said you wanted us to do something. And we are saying, I'm sending this to you, please complete it, and then we'll proceed. If you don't receive that form, then leave it alone, because obviously they weren't too serious. If they can't take 5 minutes to complete a form, to give us the type of information that you need to really do the research, then it goes into the category, no, not now. When they're ready, if they're serious, then they're gonna complete it. And again, this all have to do with posture. Posture is critical. And now that travel is opening up again, people wants to travel. People have been cooped up and they're ready. They want to go. But it's gonna be your posture that's also gonna let them know that you are open, and you are open for business. You're not open to be doing favors to, okay, could you search this for me? And you're wasting 2 and 3 hours and then nothing happened, right? I know there are times that we have to do that, but if they can't even complete the new client form, then you probably need to say, are they serious about this? Are they not serious about it? And then, sometimes there's certain things and certain individuals or certain business that is best for you not to accept, because it becomes more of an issue than anything else. And I'll touch on that at a later time.
Well, she's right. As Google Forms is a great tool, as I was expressing, to get information from clients, but it's also what we found it a great tool for is weeding out clients, weeding out the serious clients. If they're not serious about what they're asking you to do and they don't complete this Google form. Now, sometimes it's a matter they got busy but what I will do, especially with somebody that's brand new, is I'll contact and follow up and say, hey, we haven't received your new client form. We're waiting to get started with the research of the trip that we discussed. So let us, with tomorrow, I try to drive the conversation. I've learned to not put it in the client's hands, but I'll drive the conversation so that can I expect it by tomorrow? Yeah. Yes or no? If not, when? As opposed to when can I expect it? When you leave it open-ended, remember, this is your business, not the other way around. So you really do have to drive it, and that's what we've been, to be honest with you, getting courageous about doing. At first, I was kind of, because you're just anxious to try to get the business and make some money and get some numbers on your books and things of that nature. But you really trust me. If the person's not willing to give you key information about themselves, they're probably not as serious about working with you. And so that means you're not wasting time, spending time. For instance, last week somebody contacted me about they wanted to go to a trip to San Juan. And I said, San Juan? Oh, yeah, that's a great place. They said San Juan, Washington. I've never heard of San Juan, Washington. And San Juan, Washington is like a small county off of Seattle, just before you reach Canada. It's like a couple of islands just before you reach Canada. I never heard of San Juan, Washington, but to do that research, because it's a small island with just a few resorts on there, it would take some work to do the job right. It takes some work to get to. Sometimes your research is, you have to find out something about that area. I looked at it and I couldn't understand, well, how do people get onto that island? And I found out there's a ferry that takes you. Well, does that ferry carry cars, or is it just people? How often is that ferry? So how do I make sure that their flight is in time to be, because sometimes ferries are just a certain hours in a day. All of these things I had to find out about. Sometimes these trips are not just, a flight in the hotel, or in this case it was, but it was a flight in a hotel to a place that was very unique in its character. So I spent a little time just finding out about San Juan, Washington. And once I found out about it, I said, I'd like to, and I found out that Oprah Winfrey has a $8 million getaway there, cottage, a house there. So this is a pretty nice area that I just never heard of. But what I'm getting at is, before I did that research, I made sure I had clients' information, because it wasn't just a matter of looking for a flight in a hotel. I really had to research that area, make sure the logistics of getting there was all in place. And so you're kind of doing some forward thinking so that the trip is very smooth for your client. And that's where that excellence come in. When you go to McDonald's, for instance, you ask for a burger, and they ask you, do you want fries with it? And then that's it. You always ask, do you want ketchup with it, and so on. So you're always doing the extra, and that's, once you're doing that, like I mentioned in previous travel training, that's your clients that you treat with excellence are the ones that will be your biggest advertising board. They will constantly be, oh, I know this place that they really look out for you. They appreciate that. People appreciate when you take the extra effort to treat people very carefully, even when it's something small. So just wanted to mention that as well. This is what it looks like when we post, when we did our Mother's Day group cruise. We put this on our Twitter account. And so we broadcasted this group to the world through Twitter, and all they had to do was click on it. They would get some information about that group cruise, and that was a very successful cruise. We had quite a few cabins sold out for that particular trip. So you can use Google Forms to advertise about a group that you're putting together. And we'll talk more about groups at another training, but this was a tool that we use to be able to advertise on social media. So you can use Google Forms to advertise different trips that you have available for your clients. That there might be a special that Royal Caribbean is doing, or some special that Grand Bahayan is doing in the Bahamas, and you saw it through an email that your vendor sent you, and now you want to post that offering, or that special offer on your Twitter, so that people get interested in it and then contact you to book it. So these are tools that you can use that will, if you're interested in this, click on this. Google Form will ask you some basic information about what time and date, what cabin you want, or what type of room you want. Do you want oceanfront, ocean view, things of that nature? And that's the initial contact that you can use. So this is a tool that we've used to broadcast a number of trips that we found that the vendors were putting out there, that brings it, promoting, and then we were able to promote it and then get contact information. You'd be surprised how Google Forms can be very helpful in the Twitter, Facebook, and so on. So Google Forms are great tools for agents. It saves time in gathering the information that is needed. We discussed that. And to gather that information accurately is more important. Everybody knows how to spell their name most of the time. They know their date of birth most of the time. Sometimes you have to question it. Do you know their father is John Lewis, and they put on their form John Lewis? Question it. Are you a junior, or are you John Lewis the second or the third, so that you get it right? Sometimes they don't realize that. So sometimes you have to protect the client from themselves. Oh my gosh, those are stories that we can tell. But it's key that you're thinking about the information. You don't just take the information and go with it. Just look at what you got there. Make sure you have an understanding of the information that comes back from the Google Form. We're talking about information in general, but it's a deeper dive to really to when you're servicing your clients with excellence to make sure that you're looking at what you're and question them. And there's been so many times people say, "Oh, thank you, I forgot to tell you this," or "Thank you, I forgot to mention that," or you're triggering things that they need to tell you about the information that they provided. You know that you're speaking to a mature person and they reverse the numbers instead of saying 2065, they put 56 or something like that. And you know that can't be their age or something of that nature. And so those are the type of things that we look at when we're looking at the data. Documentation. It serves as documentation if there's ever a dispute. We've had this happen before. Things like, for instance, one of the things that we later in our travel experience learned to do is ask people, do you need wheelchair assistance? Because some people forget to tell you they need wheelchair assistance. They get all the way to a ship and you have to actually tell the ship in advance when you're doing a cruise that you're bringing a wheelchair or that you need a wheelchair room. Well, if they didn't click that they needed a wheelchair room, which we added to the Google form because we almost had a situation where somebody showed up at a ship with a wheelchair and they didn't tell us. They just assumed they can do it, and it turned out in that one trip that the person wasn't able to use the room that we booked for them. They had to leave the ship. What saved us was, hey, we looked at what you gave us. We have something here that says, do you need, and you never said you needed a wheelchair. So that Google form serves as documentation that keeps you safe, because that Google form stays as history. It doesn't go away. Once you receive that Google form, that information that's on that Google form stays with you. You're able to go back into that Google form and see all the people that entered information about it, go to there and see what their answers were. You can actually print that out and provide that to say, hey, or screenshot and say, here, you did not say you needed a wheelchair. And that saved us. And so wanted to share that as, especially when it comes to special needs. We had to take special training for special needs to get more, to be honest with you, a better mindset of what people that have special needs need. So or require. So we made sure to include, do you need a wheelchair? Things of that nature in our initial questions to our clients. Are there any special needs? Are there any dietary needs? These are just general questions that we ask, especially as somebody that we haven't done business with before. It engages the travelers, Google Forms, because it allows us to put custom pictures. You saw when we were talking about advertising for groups or a particular offer. Within Google Forms, you can actually upload Google videos. And so you have a little video playing, showing, generating excitement about that particular trip. You can do custom personal messages via YouTube. So what happens sometimes is if there's a grandma's 50th birthday trip to Jamaica, you can have their client that's trying to arrange it. Hey, record hey, we're going to Jamaica and for grandma, let's all get out there. And they record that onto YouTube as a private video. We can then take that private video, insert it into the Google form. And so when somebody clicks on, hey, grandma's birthday trip, and then they see a video of the person that they know in their family talking, promoting the actual trip that they're doing as a family. So we've used that as a tool for even that. We've done that for destination weddings. It's been an awesome tool. We'll ask clients to send pictures of themselves, and we put that into the Google form because you can insert all kinds of pictures in there that personalizes it, and it excites the traveler. And it's the group planner is always thrilled to see that. So just some final thoughts as it relates to Google Forms. We found this to be a very powerful tool. It kept us out of legal trouble sometimes. It gives you the information that you need to book people. It helps you to screen potential clients so that you're not wasting your time. And time is something that they can't spend with you. So I hope that this was helpful as far as Google Forms go. Some have heard this training before. We wanted to do a refresher on it, let you know some of our experiences as it relates to it, and wanted to just make sure to give you some ideas as it relates to as you're starting your business or restarting your business. This is a powerful free tool to use that will help you go much further down the line with Google Forms. So with that said, there was a couple of other brief topics we just wanted to notes that we just wanted to share with you as we end this hour-long training. I'll let Ino begin.
Okay, so one of the things that we wanted to mention to you and have you really keep in mind is professional development. It is key. It is key. And to those who have been in the business for a while, and yes, we know that COVID came and it prevented us from doing a lot of stuff. That one-on-one, face-to-face, touchy-feely that we are all have been used to was halted. But professional development is important. It's important that we are attending trainings for our niche. As Jerome mentioned before, the cruising industry, although they were hit, one of the things that they were doing is that they had training, especially I know Royal Caribbean, they had training every single week. So every week there was something that you were able to plug into, and they're still doing it. So if you are not participating, if you're receiving the emails and you are ignoring it, I'm telling you right now, you're doing a disservice not only to yourself, but you're doing a disservice to your clients.
So and let me just point out one thing as it relates to Royal Caribbean and even Carnival. Every week they're giving away money to they're doing like random drawings. Vicky Freed for Royal Caribbean and I forgot his name off the top of my head. We met him for Carnival. They're giving out free cruises for people that are online involved with their training, participating with the training. So you're losing out more ways than one.
Right. Well, live events sponsored by vendors started recently. And I would say it started recently because we were able to attend an event last Tuesday here in Orlando, which was an event by the Dominican Republic Tourism Board.
Yes.
And because we attended it, we will be also hopefully participating in an event that they're having in Miami, where they're bringing in the ministro of tourism from the Dominican Republic, and that's just because of our attendance and just keeping plugged in with stuff. There's a lot of online trainings. There are webinars, and the vendor portal have stuff that are pre-recorded. They put all kind of the trainings there. Every time Royal Caribbean does a training, is recorded, so you could always go and you could see and listen to what's going on. One-on-one meetings with the BDMs, again, that is picking up. I know we have one that we have gonna have scheduled with the Dominican Tourism Board. They have an office here in Orlando, and we were notified about that. So we are in talks with them to have a meeting where we could sit down with them and get more information about really what's going on. And again, that's just for us to be able to develop our own knowledge on business.
And we just wanted to mention, just in case those that are new to the industry, BDMs is Business Development Managers. Those are the people that are working with you on behalf of their company. So you may have something like Charisma Resorts. They have a business development manager or a sales manager that works with travel agents that represents them. So if you have an issue with a client, sometimes that's at a Charisma Resort, you can contact them if 1-800 customer service is not working out, because they have an inroad directly into operations. They are there also to train you on their product. And what Inocencia is referring to is with the Dominican Republic. We attended, the BDM contacted us about attending Dominican Republic's tourism board training here in Orlando, and from that, they've invited us to go to a much more select event that's in Miami. They're actually flying us down there and putting us up, and then putting us through training with the head of tourism from Dominican Republic. Just imagine the connections that you can make for your clients, not just for you, but for your clients. When you have a problem, your client has a problem, you have more than 1-800 customer service for that particular place that you can reach out to say, hey, my client is having an issue and I need you to step in to help out. Where do I go, or how can you help me with that? When you have that type of rapport with your vendors, that takes you to another level. People have a greater respect for you as far as vendors as well as clients. I just had a situation this past week where a client asked me for insurance, and then they said never mind, and then 10 days after you could purchase that insurance, they said we want it, and so I had to contact the company, and because of the relationship that I have with the company, they were able to add that travel insurance on there 10 days after it was past due. Typically, and they said it was a one-time favor, and that's fine. They always say that, so as long as you don't make it a habit. But but we knew what to say and how to say it and who to speak to, and we mentioned who we knew as far as the BDM, and that helped get that situation resolved. Oftentimes, as travel advisors, we are the representatives of our clients. We're the lawyers, we're the advocates. Yes, we're the lawyers, we're the advocates, and that's what they're paying us for. And so that's why we're kind of going easy right now, but getting a relationship with your business development manager takes you a long way. They're telling you things one-to-one that they don't necessarily tell groups of people. And so these are all helpful when you're trying to work with the clients and distinguishing yourself from other travel advisors.
That is correct. And that's, I was going to say that, because one of the things that business development managers look at, they want to know how serious you are about your business.
Yes.
Okay. They don't want to only see you or hear from you when there is a problem. They want to know that you are serious about the business. Are you plugging in? When they invite you to come out to training, when they invite you to these webinars, are you connecting with them? Are you showing up? And I know that showing up, right? That professional development of your business is what would help you, and is what will separate you from the rest. If you want to be different, if you want to excel, if you want to be able to serve your clients, if the type of clients that you're after are VIP clients not going to work with somebody that doesn't know their business. If they ask you a question and you hemming and hamming and you can't answer them because you don't know your business, they're going to find somebody that is operating in a professional way, that is operating in a knowledgeable way, because they're coming to you as the expert. You are the expert. Hence, education, knowledge, personal development is critical to your business. So if you're not taking the time out to do it, I am encouraging you to do it. Whether you're part-time or full-time, you can carve out at least an hour or two in a week to educate yourself about something that has to do with the industry that you are in, and that is travel. Why we want to do all of this, right? Because investing in self, investing in your development, investing in your knowledge. We always hear people say knowledge is power. Yes, it's power. It's power, and it's priceless. There's no amount of dollars that can take away the knowledge that you gain. Once you have it, you have it, but you have to keep on it. It doesn't stop. The only way you stop learning is when you are 6 feet under. But in the meantime, take the time to learn something about your business every single week. I'm not going to say every single day, but I will say at least once a week, plug into something.
Yes.
Product knowledge is fluid. We're in an industry, and if you didn't realize it yet, it's changes. One day is one thing, the next day could be something else. It's a fluid industry. So make sure that you are developing your product knowledge. When you know what you know, it builds confidence. You could talk about something because you know about something. And when you know about it, you don't hem and harm. You talk about it like somebody that knows what they're talking about.
And clients know the difference. They pick up on it. They pick up on it very
trust
quickly.
me, you may get somebody that you think you're giving some little whatever, and they are more educated than you are. And when you give them information that is not correct, that some of them will check you on it right then and there, and some of them will say, okay, thank you so much, and click buy, because they know that you're not educated. They know that you have no clue of what you're talking about. So it's critical for us to be knowledgeable about what we are talking about. Don't go back to the client with information that you don't know about. Don't sweet it up and make it sound pretty when you know that it's not. If it's not a good place, it's not a good place, and we are done.
Yeah.
And let them know. Don't tell them stories because you're just concerned about that commission. Tell them the truth.
Yes.
Okay. Knowing the language can set you apart. Cabin versus room. We don't have rooms on a ship. We have cabins. So if you're gonna talk to somebody, and how many rooms you want? No, I'm not planning to have this in a hotel. I want a cruise. So know what you need to know. You have decks and you have versus floor. So these are just some of the stuff that you need to know. Staying current, stay current. Stay on top of what is happening. You stop learning, you stop developing, guess what? Your business will die.
It will.
Yeah. It will die. Yeah. Because you're going to be giving your clients information, you're going to be sending them places, and you're going to be telling them something about a place, and you have no clue that the hotel is under construction, or the hotel got torn down, or the area around the hotel is not as beautiful as it was, but you telling them what you remember 5 or 6 years ago. So we have to make sure that we are remaining current and up to date with these places and with our knowledge in reference to our business.
So we just want to give you a couple of golden nuggets. Dave uses that term nuggets, and so we've kind of adopted it a little bit. When you're working with clients, be the total professional. If you don't know something, just say, I don't know, let me get back to you. But be a total professional in everything you do. Articulate professionalism in your writing, your speech, even when the client is wrong, sympathize with them and say, we're going to get it right. Be your client's advocate. We spoke about that. You have to be there for them, advocating for them when a flight changes, when there's a flight cancellation, all kind of things that may come up. Be available, especially when the client is traveling. Answer your phones or listen to your messages. You are in a people business, and they need you when they need you. So be available for your clients. Find a way of doing that. If you're working full-time, make sure you're checking your messages maybe during lunch or at the end of the day. But try not to let 24 hours go away where you haven't responded to an email within 24 hours or a voicemail within 24 hours. Operate with full integrity. Oh, yeah. We at Travolution insist on integrity. Do not do anything that's less than full integrity. It never works out, especially when you're trying to make a quick buck or trying to avoid doing some extra work that really, that really needs to be done. Full integrity is required. Yeah. Be loyal. Be loyal to your clients. Be loyal to this business. Be loyal to integrity. Operate. Be or use best practices. Make sure that you are staying on top of what is required and you're making sure to execute that for each and every one of your clients. Be discreet. Oh my gosh, I've had husbands call me and say, book me on a trip. I think I talked about this last week. A husband called me about a trip. Me and my buddy are going, me and his friend. I know that, but we each need our own room. To make sure you only send the email to my friend, not to me, because and so we have to learn to be discreet. I haven't made the mistake yet, but I almost slipped up sometimes when the husband says, I want to book a trip, and he doesn't necessarily tell me that he's surprising his wife. And sometimes with our CRM it automatically will send an email to both of them because I have both their names and emails on the trip. And I had to purposely leave the wife's name out. So what we've learned to do, and I'm helping you out here so that you don't run into trouble, whoever spoke to you about the trip is the person that you respond to about the trip.
That's right.
Don't call, if you can't get the husband that called you about it, don't call the wife saying, I've been trying to reach your husband about that trip. And she's like, what trip? Go back to the person you spoke to, even if you know them and you're very friendly with them. This could be mom and dad. This could be uncle and aunt. I'm talking about anybody. Whoever, unless the person said, hey, send it to both of us. We're both looking at this. Make sure you're only going back to the person that you spoke to about the trip. It will save you a lot of grief and them a lot of grief. We're not going to take any questions because we're running late, and this was really an opportunity. We will be taking questions after this meeting beginning next week. We hope that you get in touch with Travolution, get signed up, get ready for more in-depth training. We try to give you some general overviews that will help you get started strong and successfully so that you're not stumping your toes on things. There's a lot more to learn about this industry that we want to share with you. We're excited to do that so that you can be successful. So together we're going to thrive. Together we're going to learn. And together. I can't see the
together. Go to the back. There we go. Here we go. Together we win.
So thank you so much. I appreciate your time. We try to do this within an hour. We never try to get there, but hopefully this was helpful to you.
And watch the spelling of the word together. TWO. That was done on purpose because together is not you against me and me against you and we against the host agency or the host agency against us. No, together we will strive. We're gonna win. We're gonna learn together. We're gonna do this because this industry,
here at Travolution, it's a family thing. We don't compete against each other. We work with each other to succeed. Great. We've done the work together, and we win together. And we love and appreciate the owners that has helped to generate that type of culture, and which is unusual. We've been at meetings where people talk about the horrors that they have with some of these host agencies that are just about, just book. They don't want to train them. They don't want to support them. That's not what you'll find here.
We have been blessed. We
look forward to next week when we'll be talking about branding. That's huge, and we're going to do a deeper dive in that. We'll stick to one topic so that we can really help you with branding. This will also help you promote your business. We'll show you how we've done it so that you can win at this travel. So thank you so much for joining us on this training about the art of follow-up and Google Forms. Hopefully this was very helpful to you. Thank you.